So in this video, I want to talk about whether we as people north of the border are welcome in Mexico or are we not? Are we supposed to go home? Are we supposed to not come here? Are we supposed to stay out of this area, out of Mexico, maybe out of Latin America, maybe out of other parts of the world? Are we welcome? Are we welcome when we visit other places? And my experience here in Mexico, I'm completing a 6-week trip here. And also my experience as having YouTube videos where people are making comments is that there's a lot of people who basically don't welcome us, don't welcome north of the border people. There's also a lot of people who do welcome us. A lot of people are happy that we're here. A lot of people that are very gracious and welcoming. And so it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag in Mexico, and I think the politics play huge into this. There's a lot of tension right now, the whole political scene right now. I'm filming this in February 2025. There's just a huge amount of stuff with all of the tariffs and all of the issues surrounding, the relations between the United States and Mexico right now are making it challenging for gringos to be in Mexico because there's a lot of pushback. A lot of people in Mexico are not happy with what's happening politically, and there's a whole history of generations of intervention of the United States into the affairs of Mexico and other Latin American countries and wars. And so there's a lot of feelings, a lot of intense feelings. This topic brings up a lot. But the truth is that there are tens of thousands of Americans and Canadians that live in Mexico at least half time and that are coming down here and that are coming to certain areas like, for instance, like Chapala and San Miguel, where I've been to both of those on this trip, and where, there's a lot of influx of gringos coming in, and it's affecting the local economy. It's affecting the economy, and it's raising prices, and it's pricing out some of the locals, and it's not like somebody commented about San Miguel that it's basically like Disneyland. It's like what Americans or Canadians want to see Mexico as. It's not an authentic Mexican community anymore. And so this is real. There's been a lot of changes. Now, Mexico's a huge country. Latin America is a huge area. And so it's not necessarily that the entire continent, that the entire country has been overwhelmed and overtaken by gringos coming down here. But the truth is that there is an influence. There are people that are coming down by the droves. Especially a lot of people are escaping sort of the political situation in the U.S. and they want to get out and they want to, have a new life, and their dollar goes further, and they like the food and they like the culture and they like the weather. And so they come down here. But in the end, is it pricing out locals? Is it making it difficult for locals to live here? Is it making it hard for people to eke out their living? Now, of course, people who pivot and they, service the tourist industry, the expat industry, the foreign national community, those people are probably doing better than they would be if there weren't gringos coming down here. But it's change, and change is always hard, and people aren't always happy with it, and people don't like change. People resist change, and so it creates all this complexity. It's very convoluted. And so I think, as me coming down as a gringo from the United States down to Mexico, the best that I can do is just come with an open heart, come with non-judgment and acceptance of the culture, and try to integrate and try to do things the way they do it and learn their ways down here, and not come and inflict my own impressions about what it's supposed to be in Mexico, how Mexico's supposed to run. I want to come down here and I want to be open to the communities. I want to talk to the people. I've been studying Spanish every week for 5 years. Just about every week I have a Spanish teacher based out of Morelos, really good guy, and I meet with him online every week, and I'm learning the language. And right now I'm in Tepoztlan. This is like an energy vortex center in Mexico, and there's not a lot of people that speak English here, so I've been forced to use my Spanish. So my teacher says, get out of the burbuja, get out of the bubble. When you come down here, come to the areas where there's not a lot of gringos, where you're not going to be, necessarily in your comfort zone, hanging around, the gringo community. You're going to have to use your Spanish. You're going to have to integrate. You're going to have to get along with people. And you're going to have to make it work. And it's not going to be, just so easy, and it might be challenging. I mean, you might have a hard time getting your needs met at certain times. Or there might be a traffic jam. And you might be like, what am I supposed to do? There's cars all over the place. How am I supposed to handle this, right? But you just go with it. You just flow. Maybe you step to the side and you let people just wander by. you know, and it's okay. You know, you just let it happen. You know, Mexico is different. Things don't operate the same down here as they do in the US or Canada. So you've got to get used to it. You got to adapt. You got to flow. You got to go with their energy. You know, people talk about it like as it's like a sea of fish. You know, the flow of the people in perhaps Latin America, perhaps many developing countries. I've been to India, it's like this. It's like there's fish flowing around. The traffic is like fish, and you just got to kind of flow with it like a fish. You don't want to, like, you know, obstruct. You know, you want to go with it. So this is my encouragement to you. You know, if you want to come down and you're wondering, are you welcome? Are they going to want you to go home? Are they going to want you to not come here? Come down here with an open heart, with an open mind, and be open to the experiences that you have down here. And just be, I've spent so much time just sitting in the city parks, in the Zocalo, the center of the city, just sitting in them, these parks, and just watching the flow of the people go by. It's amazing. It's something that you don't experience north of the border. We don't really have local gathering places like that. So it's a wonderful culture, and if you just come down and you adapt and you don't try to inflict your ideas of how things should be, I think things will go well. So yes, I think in a way we are welcome. Of course, there's going to be people who are not going to be welcoming of us coming down. But in the end, you know, if you come down with like a love in your heart for the culture, I think it's going to work for you. So I encourage you to take the trip south, you know, whether it's Mexico, whether it's Nicaragua, whether it's Ecuador or Peru or Argentina or Colombia, you know, take the risk. I've been to several of those countries, and the other ones that I haven't been to, they're on my list. But come down and come with an open heart, and I think you will love the experience that you have down here. So please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps get this out to more people. And I look forward to sharing more of my experiences around the world and when I'm back home as well in California. And thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it.